Hello and welcome to Capsule preseason week 3. Not preseason. Capsule 2021 season week 3. I am your host Destiny with the co-host Oasis.
Heyo.
And here we have our guest Rugratz coach Toshiro.
Hey everyone.
And with the introductions out of the way, are you guys wanting to get into the week here?
Yeah, let's go ahead.
Alright. Alright, so match 1 we have our first divisional of the week. We have Budokai versus Bujins. A couple notable things about this match. Buhan being on attack plus 3, so doing a nice 64,000 before going down. Master throw for Buhan with attack plus 3, and Sirius doing a really lot of damage. Just so great. And another notable thing about this match, General Tao bringing it back to basically a half a bar of a difference nearing the end with a 90k near elite performance. So it was fun, and Bujins took out the win in the end. But overall, fun match. And if you're Budokai, don't slow down on the General Tao game. Say so. Oasis, what did you think of this match?
I thought it was an amazing match. I didn't expect the first match of the week to be such a nail biter with how close it was. There's a lot of, as you were mentioning, a lot of dips and turns and swings in momentum. But once again, I was not expecting Budokai or Buhan, not Buhan, Team Buhan, yes. No, Bujins to be as close as it was, even though it was a divisional match. I was expecting more of uh, a slaughter, I guess, by Budokai because of how how the double Tau lineup has been doing over this past couple weeks, and you know I was proven wrong. I was proven wrong. I want to see, or I can't wait to see how Bujins, you know, if they can keep up the momentum, maybe go on a hot streak during the next week. And Budokai is a strong team, so there's no doubt will find a well. They still have their footing. Let's be perfectly honest. There really wasn't a bad loss. So there's not really a loss of momentum. They'll definitely pick it back up, to say the least. Just overall, wow, an amazing performance by both teams, especially General Tao.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Toshiro, what did you think of this match?
I mean, they keep on doing it every time. I don't remember exactly how it went because both of these teams in the Tenkaichi Bowl or not Tenkaichi Bowl in the playoffs last season they also faced off for the third place and all. And I don't remember if it was close then, but I know during the main season for 2020 they were really close, and they apparently are following that trend again.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I am happy. I know in terms of Budokai, I know that they got a few new characters like Yamcha or like 18, and of course General Tao, who's their FA. But they're making them work, and they were somewhat of a scary team, at least to me last season. But even now, just seeing what they can do, and they don't even have Kid Goku like in who, if I recall, Kid Goku was pretty scary last season as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I can see them getting far. Now for Bujins has always, in my eyes, been like a consistent team and all. I know that they had a little bit of struggle and all during the off season, like in terms of their testing and such. But I'm kind of glad to see that like Wuhan and everyone is kind of picking up the pace and actually doing what they're supposed to do, or at least getting close to that point. Um, because I know, like, kind of looking at like with Spopovich coming in and them losing Maju, for me, I was like kind of worried with that because it just seemed things started kind of falling apart. But it's good to see that is actually like they're picking it up. They're good right now. Even Spopovich has been looking good, so I'm wondering how things would have gone if they had Spopovich in, maybe instead of I don't know, like Evil Blue, because Evil Blue or Majin. So hey, but it was a close match. What you guys said, half a bar difference and all towards the end. So
Yep.
great match.
Just funny to compare the stats between these two teams during this match. You have, quite even across the line on Bujin's side, 30k, 30k, 52, 64. And it's kind of like a team effort, so to speak, in taking your character, let someone else come in, finish them off, tag, all that good stuff. While on Budokai, it was mainly a one-man show, in the sense that General Tao kind of just took the reins after the rest of the team kind of was just sleeping. Except for 18, 18 to 45k. But yeah, Yamcha and Tao, Cyborg Tao, below 30. And to see General Tao just step up to such an extent, it's definitely a contrast that I find interesting, at least, to make note of. And also, the main point to your Spopovich comment, I suspect it would have gone the same way without Spopovich. I believe did very well last week. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh, he did
Yeah,
over
he
he
did.
did over 50k last week.
What happened to that? What did they do to that man?
They gave him the spare petars that happened with the Maju going away.
Oh, I guess that's just the secret sauce, isn't it? But if Popovich was in, I I suspect it would have been a similar outcome to what we saw here. Although I don't know. I'm not sure who would be where he would fit in terms of damage, but I think it would turn out similar.
But the only reason why I thought that he would probably do a little bit better than because if I recall, Iwabu came in and almost while he hit 33k, he did better than Majin. I felt like it felt like he could have lost him that match because he wasn't doing everything that he could have done. To seal the deal, because I think they still had a lead, if I recall, before he came in, right?
It was just like a little bit left of whatever Majin Buu didn't finish, and then like a bar of Tao.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah. But no, you are correct. Iwabu was kind of just playing with his food at that point and almost threw the game, but didn't.
I mean, he got the job done, so that I guess that all that matters. But
True.
still, kind of just came down to a nail biter when I wasn't really expecting that with Iwabu.
It's just the way that it ended, though. Tao going for the false courage, which is a smart play more often than not. It's just Iwabu just happened to come on me at the same time. What a way to finish.
Alright. Two things. One, the last season's match and the playoff match between these two were both came within like half a bar difference. So it's great to see that these two teams are still like going at it, keeping it up, keeping it close. And also, another thing, can we get a round of applause for Majin Buu for doing a more than 10k? Not to go against Bujins, it's just he's been kind of either lackluster or on cleanup recently, so it's great to see that man do more than his 10k.
Sure.
But with that, shall we get moving on? Don't want to spend too long on these matches.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Alright, here we go with match 2 with Royals and GT. Two really good things stood out to me. It's that Pan and Pycon leading off in the pack for GT, giving them a strong lead, giving them just really boosting up their stats. Like Pan 74k, man, she monster. But as you can see, it really looked like a flip-flop of the start when the two Vegetas came in. And by the way, both of the Vegetas before this week were like the lowest statted characters on Royals, not in terms of games, just in terms of like weekly stats. And just to show them doing like 60, 70k, man, this is scary. So yeah, and this ended up into a Royals win, one of the first wins they have in the season. So Oasis, take it away. How'd you feel about this match? What were some moments?
I mean, to keep it very short, the image you have for the Royals is essentially what happened. How I feel, how I feel about the entire match. Just baby smiling as he, throws out what 3 ults at Goku and rest of GT.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I feel like it was kind of a tragic match because of how it started. With Pan and Pycon just showing their stuff, strutting their stuff, showing who's boss, taking names, and doing what they can to get their team a win. Especially Pan, like you were saying, how she isn't really known for doing the most damage, but for her to come out and do almost 80k, doing more than 70k, is a sight to see. And I was really hoping that would turn into a win for GT, but of course that's not what happens. Double Vegetas equals typically, when you put 2 V's together, that equals a W, typically. And that's exactly what happened here. As Modern Vegeta and Baby Vegeta just spammed the entire way through.
Mm-hmm.
And what can we say?
Like they spam through Sin Shenron, who recently has been looking like one of GT's best characters.
Right. And I mean, I'm glad, not glad, but he did 32, which is a bit on the low end for, well, not really, but hey, he could have done more. But versus, all that spam, power body, ultimates, super plus 2B2s, that was just so much damage to clean up, the rest of GT. I don't know what any team really can do to stand up against that.
Mm-hmm. Tosh, what'd you think? What were some moments of this match that you liked?
Very shocked at Pan. I know people are going to be like, next season, if I want to get someone new, they're going to be like, you should get Pan. No, still not going to get Pan.
Not
I
gonna give
will.
up Cell Jr. for him?
No. Um, but something like kind of to point out here is that Pan was also on a 6-point build. GT had 3 fighting spirits accidentally, and Pan's got randomized off. And just to see her without the extra fighting spirit to add on to her key and all that, which could have allowed her to spam more, but she didn't care. So I'm really shocked that she did that. The other thing, Baby, of course, showing what he could have done, what he should have done, probably against, I think against Muscle, or was
Against
it against
Namek.
Namek?
It was against Namek
Okay,
because Nuova.
yeah, and this man, I don't even think he did 10k against Namek, and then on the same build later on, he's just like, all right, I got my nap and everything. I'm fully woken up. Let me put in this work, and that's what he did. Um, Majin Vegeta. This is actually the first time, I think in the season, or at least in the main season, say at least, that he was on his Super Plus 2 build. So A is putting in work, doing what they can. Royals being in my division, well, in our division, Destiny.
Yeah.
We got too many top contenders here.
Yeah, my team being
but,
at the bottom and still being one of the better teams.
West Kai, best Kyle. Can we say?
The only other thing that I would have to say is regarding GT. Like I said, GT. I'm glad like they're doing well for the most part. I was hoping Sin transformed to kind of do a little bit more for them and all. GT Goku, I don't know. I kind of want to just be like, I hope that he continues to do somewhat bad only for my own benefit. But like, I really hope that they do get him to work out better because I know that they were trying to get him to do a whole spam build, and he was in Savior. He came in with Savior, I'm pretty sure, and I don't know if he charged back up Max Power, but he did not fire off a single ultimate. So hopefully they're able to find something.
He actually did charge up back to max power a few times.
Okay, so then that just furthers my point. I'm hoping that they're able to find something that works out for him genuinely. Like, I'm not even messing around, like saying, "Oh, drop him." No, I really hope that they get him working because working with GT Goku when he used to be on Rugratz previous season and everything, I enjoyed working with him, and I know he can work. So I'm hoping that they can get him to do the same thing. So,
Problem with that though,
but good
that
match.
the problem with that though is that when you had him, he was on attack plus 2, and I mean, he was a monster. He is quick melee, small size, and high base
Mm.
stats made him very good for attack plus 2, and they tried that last season, but
Also,
they didn't get very far.
it wasn't just that. He was attack plus 2 and in the Super Saiyan 3 form.
True, true.
Yeah, the
Fact.
other thing was that we were also allowed to. I don't know how much of a difference, and of course it was on different difficulty. I'm pretty sure we were allowed to do Super Saiyan 4 if we weren't allowed if we are allowing fusions. Last season they weren't allowed to see Super Saiyan 4 at all because of the Rollies ring
Mm-hmm.
Super Saiyan
that
4
they put on them.
didn't Super Saiyan 4 do nothing in the past? In the last.
So it had its
Mm.
ups and downs. But like I said, that was on different difficulty as well. So that's something else to do.
Never know. Maybe GT would want to do another attack build again, put him back to Super Saiyan 3, but he's closer to Super Saiyan 4 now.
I mean, you might want to just go defensive spam, maybe, because Pycon's doing well on attack plus 2. Vegeta should probably stick to attack plus 1 or 2. And then, Shin's the ultimate tank. Apparently Pan's figured it out. Pan's finally decided to be,
Hey,
spamming Kamehamehas and stuff.
you never know. Maybe
So,
GT Goku doesn't do that well. They bring out the Pilaf.
bring out the peel off.
But
We'll see about that.
We'll see about that.
but shall we get moving on?
I mean, I will say one last thing. At least Pilaf has shown to do a little something. At least maybe 30K, 40K on a good day,
Mm-hmm.
maybe. So I guess that is something to fall back on if they want to.
Hey, if you guys need a rush character, Pilaf your man.
It's true. There's nothing wrong with having an android.
Yeah.
As Tosh could probably agree. But
Very true.
shall we get moving on to the next match, or or actually something before the next match?
Sure.
All right. So before we talk about the next match here, I'm just going to give a quick rip stats to the boy Tapion. Did 4K because of cleanup, and we can get to that going on to this next match here. But here we got Sentai versus Resurrected Warriors, and I'm sorry, Resurrected, that's really one of the only Aider picks I could find.
What's happening to him in this pick? I'm actually.
He's dying.
He's
Gotcha. He's
dying.
just falls asleep. Cool.
Oh no, yeah, he's falling asleep. Don't worry about the sparks. But really the start. Okay, so starting off this match, we have the Elite and Vegeta versus Saiyaman. Saiyaman doing nearly 30k to end Vegeta, almost firing an ult off, but doesn't hit because it doesn't track. But and Vegeta just taking it to Saiyaman, tagging, and then Aider comes in, and it takes a while for Sentai to get through Aider, and then not to say they don't have some good moments. Say woman near the end of the match did nearly 6k. Adult Gohan did try during the match, did a little bit more than the Saiyaman counterpart, and but early Goku came in, kind of cleaned up. I think the best moment of this match though was Adult Gohan fired off a B2. Early Goku dodged and immediately counter-fired with an ult to kind of just seal Adult Gohan's fate right there, making sure that he can't spam his heart out. And as was said before, for Tapion, early Goku kind of falling Saiyan woman and having to ruin Tapion stats right there. But Oasis, what'd you think about this match? What were some moments you liked?
Personally, I don't think there are many moments that I could point out here besides, like you mentioned, Ultimate Gohan throwing out that massive Kamehameha, stuff like that.
Wait, Alt
All I
Gohan?
was, my bad.
Adult
My
Gohan.
bad. Adult Gohan, that's my bad. The only point I really have to make is that uh not to oh I mean that's the whole point of the comment. But what Sentai came into this season 3-1 during the preseason. Now they're 0-3. I wonder what's going on here. That's really my only comment. Like, what do y'all think is going on after going to after having such a good series in the preseason? Why do you think they're struggling so in the main season?
Mm, Maybe
I mean,
because maybe
what?
because the teams are putting in their best lineups first. Because Sentai does have a bit of a struggle. Also, doesn't help that they FA benched Captain Ginyu, one of their better characters.
Mm, that's fair. That's fair. What do you think, Tosh?
So their first 5 weeks is really hard. Not gonna lie. So like
Yeah.
they had to go against us, GT. So yeah, Rugratz, GT, Resurrected Warriors. Then they got hybrids and then Kaiju. Teams that are either really aggressive or like Kaiju, where can counter them hard. Um, so I don't know, like I don't know if it's just like them being outperformed because I've seen what their characters can do, but I feel like it's just comes down to matchup where it's not going their way. Like
Mhm.
if you look at this match, you have Birder versus Ader. While Birder, I don't remember what kind of build Birder was
He's
on.
he's
Oh,
almost always on defense to attack
so
-1 EL or something like that.
yeah, so he had EL, but instead of Indomitable Fighting Spirit, which gives him more key back, what is it, as he's hitting like getting hits and everything like that, he
Mhm.
had latent energy and active part. While those are kind of like neat, or at least active part is kind of niche, you know, um, it still has its uses. But against Ader being an Android, I used to be on Android, and Ader was always our consistent person. So you always expected him to do 40K. He he does well. He doesn't need to charge. He can stay in your face. He doesn't care, and he can kind of counter that. He has false courage and all that. So it just like that's just one example to where that matchup, while it may seem Birder's fast melee will be better in that situation, really it can be a downfall
Mhm.
because of the kit and everything. So I just feel like their matchup, like while they're probably planning like to a T, predicting everything and doing well and all, they're just getting outplayed in bad matchups for their characters, and that's nothing that they can control, unfortunately.
Then
Yep.
let me ask you this: do y'all think that Sentai is kind of just figured out? Like, do you think it's like a not you think it's like a well-known secret on how to beat Sentai now due to like how you were saying like Berger, while he is a fast failure, he struggles very hard with false courage, Android or defense with Android, defensive power body essentially. That's what he struggles with, and then a list of other weaknesses. Do you think Sentai is going to see the same struggles in the next, week 6 through 10? Because they're kind of because their weaknesses are kind of not more obvious, but more prevalent, I guess, than other
More
teams.
apparent.
More apparent. Thank you. That's the word. More apparent than other teams, or do you think maybe the easier next 5 weeks will maybe bring about transition of sorts?
It could. So this is coming from a person with one of the only teams that doesn't have a power body character or a false courage character in their base roster. So
I can still see them doing well, it's it's hard to predict and everything, but I can see them doing
yeah.
well within the next 5 weeks.
Wh-
Because outside of this one, I want to say like their match against us and everything was kind of close. Like it was like kind of close, something where it was like only 2 bars. I don't remember who they went against last. GT. They went against GT. I'm not. I don't remember how close that
G
match was, but
it was not close.
it wasn't okay.
No. The
Like I
only
feel
only
like
close one
the
they had
pin.
so far was your match.
Okay, well, I feel like that they can still do well. They know how to work their characters. Gomo's been on that team for a long time and everything, and Zero has been working. Both of them have been working out, him and Anthony as well. So they've been working that team, all three of them. They know how their characters work. So at that point, it just comes down to hopefully the AI actually plays out how they know it can be. So I can see them pulling it out within the next 5 weeks or whatever, and all.
Mm-hmm.
So
So
then, in contrast to Sentai, is Resurrected Warrior? I mean, obviously you're 3-0, haven't lost a single game since preseason. Not really. Yeah, it's kind of definitive they're the best team in the league right now. Do you think? What do you think would put a stop to Resurrected Warriors? Like right now, what strategy, what qualities in a team would be needed to beat RW?
I think a lot of burst damage and a lot of survivability because they did almost lose to Dirt. They just got very
yeah,
lucky in the final B1 usage of the match. So, like tag game, lots of burst damage, and survivability are what I think can beat Resurrected Warriors.
I agree with the tag game. I will also say aggression because like when you look at their team, which honestly I didn't expect early Goku to be as much of a threat as he is now. Not gonna lie, but like you got early Goku, base and Vegeta, and hell, even though Majib isn't on his spam build or his all rounder build that Bujins had him on, he still has that survivability and he has that burst damage as you were saying. So like if you can dodge crazy or have your tag game and everything and do a lot more aggression on them to where they can't charge for key or whatever, that can be the key to actually beating them completely.
I think
Because like while Tapion is, I feel like while Tapion is good and everything like that, he is not as crazy as um in Vegeta or early Goku or Majima at this point. I feel like that's just my opinion on
I
like concerning him.
Say, that's so wild to say. Tapion is not as good as early Goku.
I mean to be fair, does Tapion have Kaioken stacking
That's true.
while on attack build?
And I
But
didn't know that Kaioken gives him if he's at like no key. I didn't know it gives him full key and
oh yeah,
everything. And
yeah.
yeah, it's just like little things like that. He can keep on stacking it. I didn't. I knew that you can stack it. I didn't know it gave him the key to
It's
use it more.
it's a little bit broken, but I think the only one that Resurrected Warriors has. Well, I'm just gonna say this before we move on because we still got matches to do, not a lot of time. But I'm going to say this: I think the only one on Resurrected Warriors that can kind of counter the aggression is Aider, because again, Power Body, False Courage is a deadly combo.
Yes, yes.
True. They really have all their weaknesses in check. Not gonna lie, like
Hmm.
two double all rounders, a tank that doesn't care about you being in his face because max power move, power body, false courage, and then spam from the back row. Just
And
seems like their team is fairly set,
al-
very stacked.
you also got to remember they still have Yajirobe, who also has Power Body and Max Power.
Which I
True.
don't understand, but yes.
Right. Like, why is all people Yajirobe have max power?
It,
And he has a max power one, max power mode B1.
it's
So
like
that's
saying why
fine.
does Hercule have Max Power and Max Power Power Body, because we'll get to that later.
These are all great questions that we never have an answer to.
Yeah, but shall we get moving on here?
Yep.
Yep.
Alright. We're going on to match 4, Oasis's favorite. But we got Namek versus Muscle. I think a little few highlights of this match. We actually got to see legendary Super Saiyan Broly for one, like the first times this season. And I think that's really, honestly, that's really one of the only things I can remember about this match, other than Future Trunks, adult, armor Future Trunks. So many Future Trunkses. Doing nearly 70k, trying to just bring the match back, but all of his comrades doing around the 30 to 35k average. It's kind of not what you want to see. Definitely try to work more on the Broly and the Raccoon game, but we also saw Gojek this week, the attack Bojack build. So Oasis, what do you think of your match here?
There's a couple of things, but first, before we get into anything, where in the world did you find the tambourine?
I found it online. Online.
Bro, it's just throwing me, just him turning it. Whatever, I digress. First and foremost, when I heard that Muscle was gonna put Gojek on Attack Plus 2 Eternal Life, I was scared. Because imagine a dude who can throw up B2s, has good decent melee, and then max power mode, power body when he's transformed. It's very scary. Reminds me of late pick, which is also why I was very scared. But
Oh yeah.
luckily,
by the way,
yeah.
last time he was on this build, it was versus Android 16. He spammed him to death.
I love when they do the opposite with their build.
Yeah, so that was still a potential what he could do.
Right, but he's just, I mean, he kind of did, kind of didn't. He was keeping on par with Tambourine the entire way until he tagged. Yeah, he tagged.
Tambourine tagged, I believe, yes.
They both tagged, and then Broly came out, and then freaking Dorgard summoned Legendary Super Saiyan Broly. Like, as soon as Dorgard mentioned that Broly wanted to transform, poof, there he was. But, I mean, did it really matter? No, which shocked me more than anything, because that, besides Attack Plus 2, Bojack is our biggest concern, because, you know, his Eraser Cannons do AK, he has Power Body, hits like a truck, feels like a truck.
I think, here's the one thing, he has all that, he didn't have any charge. He couldn't charge worth a damn.
It was abysmal, and I hated it, and I was just like, "Oh my god!"
It's why I think, like, why don't you just put some key on him so when he gets that low, he has some key to charge and legendary.
I mean,
right.
I mean, no, I was just gonna say at that point, I feel like they just made me not have that much room, because remember that build that they had on was for the Kakarots.
True.
It was Kakarot for 1, and then in Legendary is for 2 instead. So I don't know.
You never know. You could do a key blue, but go ahead, Oasis.
Yeah, I was literally about to say that. Like, Cold is doing the exact same thing, and I'm what's it called? Is it just full power? No.
What?
100% Frieza and Mecha Frieza.
Yeah, long awaited 100%.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a long awaited 100% for 2 instead of 3. It's essentially the same strategy of just lowering the cost of the max power 1v1. But the amount of ults in comparison to Broly, it's definitely a big difference. Because, you know, you see Frieza tossing out 3, 4, maybe 5. And then a bunch of other B2 sprinkled in with his power body, all because he can charge up and get to max power mode whenever he wants. And Broly, probably like you're saying, this team may benefit from going from Super Plus 2 to Key Plus 2, so that if he wants to charge and doesn't want to use Kakarot, he can still get to max power. You know, throw out super explosive. No. Throw out super explosive wave from his regular form, and then
his Super Saiyan form is super explosive wave.
Yeah, but yeah, like that might be the strat going forward in terms of wanting to spam out max power mode B1s, is to just go Key Plus 2 and then make it the cost as small as possible, because they're willing to throw out the ults or the B2s. Then you might as well let them, because that damage will stack. Like 11k every 10 seconds is not. It's very good.
Yeah. But Tosh, what were some of your opinions on this match?
Just how crazy freaking Tambourine was, and of course Late Piccolo just doing his thing. Because I actually had to rewatch this match because I do stats for Namek. And freaking It just shocks me all the time. Late Piccolo actually hit with his ultimate, even though it was only like I think 3,000 or 4,000 because it didn't fully connect. But
Uh,
still, he hit with his ultimate.
yeah. And he did it a
Huh,
little bit above the ground too.
right? So it was actually kind of effective.
But
Didn't
Good
get
job
him
on
killed?
him.
what?
Didn't
Huh?
that Hulk get him killed though?
No, it didn't get him killed. I think he won the match. I don't know. But another thing is, Future Trunks did dodge half of it because of teleporting.
It's true.
Yeah.
So that would have
Um,
done more damage.
I still feel like, I guess like Muscle. I'm still kind of shocked that they kind of well. I'm kind of shocked that they lost, and at the same time, I'm kind of not because I don't remember ever seeing Bojack being on an attack build, and usually they swap. The only times that I remember seeing anyone else on the attack build was, of course, Super Saiyan Trunks last season or Broly, and I know that Broly had maybe 2 or 3 builds that he can swap from.
Bro-
Um,
Broly has Kakarot spam, attack, and defense.
yep.
Yeah.
Oh, and he also has Super for when he wants to, so I guess 4 builds.
Yeah.
Um,
Honestly, same way with Trunks.
yeah, and Trunks goes between attack and Super, and
And
so like,
and defense
I'm,
sometimes.
yeah, and I'm kind of shocked with Trunks is that I really feel like of course it's up to them and everything. I can give my opinion all the time, but at the end of the day, it's up to the team. They could have. I feel like they probably could have won that match. No offense, Oasis, if they had Super Saiyan Future Trunks instead, because him starting in base, I feel he loses a lot more of his aggression and at least a lot more of his damage than what we've seen him do or the potential that he could do with Super Saiyan. While he can still transform up to it, he doesn't transform until a little bit later in his health.
Hmm.
Don't
So
get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I completely agree that once again, this match on paper really should go to Muscle because of all the finer details that they have over the Namekian, especially since we didn't have Nuova in, right? So we couldn't just burst them from afar. We had to get up close and personal.
Hmm.
And I believe that if Trunks was on attack +2 doing more damage quicker than attack +2 Late Piccolo and Tambourine and all the other characters, because honestly it was just Tambourine Late Piccolo
Yeah.
doing the damage, I do believe they probably would have won this, or at least it would have been closer, you know? Because Adult Gohan would have bursted Late Piccolo out. There's no question. If his melee was attack +2, he would have won the game, won the melee game by far, because how quick it is, and because he's willing to spam. If Broly, I mean, if we want to say if all we want, but I think that Adult Gohan with more, not Gohan, Adult Trunks with more damage can definitely make up for some, some derps, some hiccups here and there. Like Raccoon over here, kind of not doing all he could. Sure, his throws hit, doing a lot of damage, but wasn't necessarily all the way there. Or Broly literally not doing anything until his second to last health bar.
I feel like that was
Yo,
probably more so matchup because he did better against Snail than he did Temporary.
I
Hmm.
guess. I
That,
mean,
that's when he threw out those 2 big freaking eraser cannons and for like 10K or whatever,
I
and was
will
doing
admit
some
though,
melee.
the nail was on a experimental build there.
Yeah,
That's probably why. But even then, like not nail, tambourine shouldn't be able to just walk over him like that, especially on
just
Fosh's build. You know.
just take it and run.
But
I mean, yeah, that's why
yeah.
that's pretty much what I did.
Yeah, but I do agree with you there. Like, Tambourine and Late Piccolo just didn't do as much damage they did. This could have gone Muscle's way, because, like, Nail did only 30k, and King Piccolo didn't even do 20k.
Well, he was on
It was
cleanup,
on
dude,
cleanup.
True.
Yeah.
That's very, very true.
and he spammed a bunch. I might add. So
How many else did he
yeah.
spam this time?
He
I think
did
they're up two or
2 or 3.
2 or 3. Yeah.
He always
I
seems to
know-
do.
He only did 2. He only did 2.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Trunks dodged the first and then hit Trunks with the second.
he always seems to do 2 to 4 every match he's in.
Yeah, either because the match is over or he's dead.
But with that, I know Oasis could go on and on about his match here, but shall we get moving on?
Yep.
Alright, going on to match 5, we have Cold Kingdom and Kaiju, and I can already see someone's probably laughing at the gif I chose.
I'm gonna stop you right there, Chief. Why you gotta It shouldn't be as funny as it is. yeah. Scatterbridge is laughing himself to death, and then Zarbon putting him
in the dirt.
putting him back.
I was hoping he got his ultimate off on him.
That would have been funny. I actually think they also did match up against each other in the actual match.
Yep,
They did.
they did.
Yep, and speaking of the match here, going away from the little funny portion bit, we have, believe it was Mecha to start.
No, it was Zarbon. I have the build up. It was Monster Zarbon first versus Scatterbridge.
Okay, it's just a bit weird since Cold has her 3 spammers and we've seen Mecha start before.
True.
But yeah, Zarbon just kind of taking it to Scouter Vegeta. Scouter Vegeta is still doing 40k, 50k with honestly the match kind of just swinging into more of Cold's favor over time because like Bardock, even though he did not enough, but I think the major turning point was Roshi being for their FA a really consistent character, just not having a good enough performance, only doing about 4k. And remember, this wasn't cleanup. He was just spammed to death by, I think, both Friezas or Cooler. But I think the weirdest thing for me to see is Cooler only did 24k. We don't normally see Cooler do 24k, not even on a bad day.
Yeah, no.
So, Oasis, what'd you have of this match? What were some moments?
Well, to start off, I think Zarbon is in that same category as early Goku, where you wouldn't expect a character like him to do so much damage so quickly and be as consistent as he is in doing so. But here we are, once again, he's doing 60, 50k, or 50, 60k, 67k here. And that's just off the fact that he's comboing. Yeah.
You also have to remember he has like 7k throws.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, he kind of makes more sense. Well, no, you know what? Let's just forget that thought because it's the same thing. They both attack +2. I'm gonna slap you across the room character, and you're going to take 10k at least because of it. But yeah, you're right. Those throws, those back-to-back throws, are super deadly. It's the fact that he can get back-to-back throws is actually the scarier part. Because this man will do 6k to you, and as soon as you stand up, you're already back in another throw. The fact that he can throw loop you, because either his throw is just that, like that's the correct timing, or he throws a key blast. I don't remember which one it is, but the fact that he can do that is very scary. Something I didn't account for when I was planning against them week 1, and the fact that the fact that Cold finally has that second meleeer that they kind of been missing for a long time. Because like you said, they had 3 spammers, right? And then they have Cold, who's kind of like a mixed bag. But they really were missing that like, straight up attack +2 meleeer who can, start and sometimes maybe go third with Savior. And they have it now. They have it in Zarbon, and he's proving to be that missing piece that's putting everything together, especially because he just gets so much damage out so quickly that he doesn't even need healing. To be perfectly frank, like he can put the Dendes on. Well, I don't even think they run like all 3 healing, but 2 Dendes.
Pretty sure one's on Cold, one's on Zarbon, and one's on Mecha Frieza.
Oh no, he has launches and Power Rage.
Oh, is that it?
Darman doesn't even have healing.
I'm more scared of Zarbon now. Thank you.
Exactly. Exactly. Like that. The fact that they don't even need 2 Dendays in Eternal Life. Well, they have Eternal Life. They don't even need the second Dendays.
Yeah,
To
they only had Mecha Frieza was the only one that had healing this week. And that was with Dendays. So yeah,
so
Isn't
so
King Cold the
scary.
other healing character?
yeah,
Yes,
he usually
Eternal
runs
Life.
EM.
Okay.
But no, it's just them and RW. I feel like have just ever since their purchases or trades or swaps, I'm not sure which one it is, that they've
Uh,
done, and their finessing of their characters have really made them into strong teams that seems to have just fully connected into all the necessary tropes and like
mhm.
you already
What
know.
is it? RW is 2 loans, and Cold is 8. They dropped Raccoon for Zarbon, and they traded Meta for Mecha.
Like just this off season was very potent for those two teams, and we're seeing it right now with how Cold is just dominating, and yeah,
hmm
I can't wait to see what they do later.
Uh, Tosh, what were some moments of this match that you liked, or maybe were one to shout out?
Again, 100% Warren Frieza. Scary, scary, scary. Zarbon, yes, he was scary. Not gonna lie, but the one person I feel like, because I'm looking at it from like my team perspective,
Mm-hmm.
freaking Frieza is gonna be the bane of our existence. But if he's using his ult spam, his B1 spam like that, and then of course he gets max power, power body and everything. This man launched. I don't. How many ultimates did he launch?
Like 2 to
What is
3?
Too many.
he and
I think at
yeah
least
he
2.
he launched three. He launched
Yeah.
three, and he only hit two. But for real, like he kept on spamming it, and he tagged.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't understand. Like, and then of course, like you said, Zarbon freaking attack was two, and uh, Master Throw, and with Sirius and everything. Once he gets up to his second bar, he's hitting like 6K, close to probably can get up close to 7K and everything like that if he uses one of his B1s. Cold is looking like a very scary team, and I feel like while Kaiju they are solid and everything, that's just something that you probably can't prepare for. Unfortunately, I'm not sure. Oh,
I think,
Scouter could. I think Scouter had a lot of issue in the beginning, but he ended up turning it back and, like you say, hitting 52K. And Bardock tried doing his thing. Roshi just got the bad end of it. With I think he got matched up with Arbon that week. He ended up coming in against Arbon,
for,
and yeah,
either it was Zarbon or 100%.
I want to say it was Zarbon, but
Both, honestly.
possibly.
Yeah, honestly, could have been.
But either way, that guy, I don't know I don't know what to tell you.
I,
And
I,
it's one other thing I was saying, and I'm done. Is more so that they were able to still do it, and Cooler was derping, or he was not derping, but he just wasn't doing everything that he could, regardless.
and we know the potential of what Cooler can do.
Yes.
Oh, and then to clarify, not clarify, but Frieza threw out 3 ults and hit with 2, and
Yeah.
only used 1v2. But that's not even, like the fact that he only threw out 1v. He only hit 1v2 and threw out 1v2, and then hit 2 ults. That's approximately 30k right there. The rest was melee.
I'm
The rest was
I'm pretty sure his 1B2 wasn't even like the Nova Strike one. It wasn't even the good one.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. I don't think he did Nova Strike.
And we know
Yeah,
Nova
it was
Strike can do like 11k on its own.
And Nova Strike is already is better than every other ping outside of Nuovas because they literally go through beams. They get the top priority
hmm
and all.
I mean,
So
to be fair, also in the show we also saw it go through beams, so yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean it makes sense, but Tosh does have a very, very serious point in the mecha, not mecha, 100% Frieza is a problem.
Oh yeah.
He's an issue because yeah, he has everything. He has everything you could want in a ult spammer, and they literally just built him to do just that, nothing else. Just to get the max power mode, stay there, and do what he wants, do what he will. Because not many teams can deal with a power body character who can then toss out a 10k beam whenever he wants because you're punching him in the face. See?
hmm
Hmm.
So,
And two things before we move on. One, and his B1 gives him a charge negative, but they just have him on key +2, so most of his B2s have like a super -1 to them,
Hmm.
and he's charging like a madman. Also, this is, I just remembered, not just a nod to their mobile one of their mobile games. This is actually perfectly timed because LF 100%
Oh
Frieza
yeah.
just came out on Legends, and
Uh,
his special attack is Nova Strike, and his legendary finish is the "You Will Die by My Hand." So
yep. Yep.
just a little nod, just perfectly timing. But shall we get moving on, or you got anything else to say?
Um, just make sure if you go against Frieza, either you buy a Draconic Aura, you guarantee he's in, or get you someone that's like an Aurelie.
Or just pray he derps.
That too.
All
I only
right.
have one more thing to say is that do y'all think Cold, sure, they may have lost one, but do you all think that they're on a similar level to RW in terms of just team completeness and
I was, I would say yes and no, but I feel like any team can be that way. I just feel like they're at a point to where they're actually making it work, while some teams may still be figuring it out. I won't say completely like yes or
I'd say on paper and like matches like this, yes, but there've been matches where they just not hit the mark.
that's fair.
So
That's fair. Yeah. I mean, and then obviously once again, no fault to Kaiju because Vegeta did 52 and Bardock was 44. It's just
and Nappa
what do you
Nappa
really do?
attempted.
But that's uh,
I think Roshi just got a bad matchup this week.
pretty much just it's what you do against 6k throws and ults out the wazoo. Ults whenever you feel like.
But
Permanent power body.
moving on, we have match 6 here. Oh, this faithful match. But again, no hard feelings. This was a well fought match in my opinion. I think some moments for me, since this is my match, is Jane actually still doing his 50k, even though he kind of ate every single B2 by Supreme Kai, and still managing to kill Supreme Kai with the 5k health from his transformation. Uh, Second form Frieza still being Mr. Consistent for our team, and Turles doing 40k is really good. Derp just bringing out their A game here. Not even Vegeta in every character doing almost 50k up. And I think the last little portion here is I feel I got cheated. Hercule just walking through Frieza's explosive wave because of both max power and false courage at the exact same time, even though that really doesn't even matter because he has power body anyway. And using a present bomb to finish the match. At least, hey, I got a present. So, Oasis, any thoughts on this match?
I mean, yes, I'm surprised Fasha only did 23k. I'm so used to her just slapping people across the room and not taking damage because she can dodge out of most combos. But here, you can't really dodge. Well, you can, but you can't really dodge out of a B2, and
She
that's kind of what they're in.
she was she was against Salza, which is kind of like her, but better B2s.
Pretty much. The one, yeah, Energy Ballet versus Scatter Finger Ring. Pretty much. And it's just the fact that Salza took it to Fasha that kind of blew my mind. Well, not even that. Just the fact that Derp is doing as well as they are. To no offense, it's just that we're so. To me, I'm so used to Derp trying to being one of those teams that are trying to figure things out, and they usually do it near the later end of the season. But to see that they already have everything already figured out to an extent is a very surprising thing to see, for me at least. And they're once again on that same level as Cold and RW. RW obviously being higher since they're undefeated thus far, but they're on that same level of we have all our members doing the role that we need, and they're doing it consistently to some extent, And as for your team, do you like you're almost there? Like literally like right there. I honestly don't know what you would need to change because like Janamba second form freeze is surprising to me at least, but the fact that he's doing well is good. And Turles doing what Turles does. Once again, it's just Fasha.
I think with Fasha, she kind of just got unlucky with basically getting going as a better version of her with better B2s, and having to also deal with Hercule's false courage and power body, which as a team with none of those, but only one innate Draconic Aura character, it's irritating. But again, congrats to Derp, and again, this is without Vegito in. They're one of their arguable best characters this season.
Oh, just ignore me. I thought you used her voice
right now. Yeah, it's just the words right out of your mouth. Or I basically answered your question. But Tosh, what do you think on this match?
Kind of going back real quick to what Oasis was saying in terms of how Derp, at least last season, they were figuring things out towards the end, like the later half of the season. I would say they better have gotten something out because they're one of the teams that got the most testing. they put in that work during the off season. I just looked it up. They did 172 tests. That's including 4v4s, of course. This past off season. So
aren't there only like a few other teams close to them in testing this off season?
I want to say there's a few teams like around those numbers and everything like that. But I think they're probably one of the top ones in terms of the most requested.
I'm actually pretty sure the team they went against, my team, is also one of the highest ones.
Wouldn't be surprised, but still, they obviously got something working and everything. Like how you're saying, even without Vegito, Hercule's already a monster. Like when he wants to be, which Hercule irritates me in different ways and everything at times. I don't like on it. So, and Solza has always been like a good tank for them. So just seeing how they got Supreme Kai and even Dodoria doing better for them, almost an Infant K, is great. No offense to you, Destiny or Snuffy. I'm kind of glad you guys lost, of course, for people that
of course for West Kai.
They're in our division, yeah. West Kai. I need any kind of buffer that I needed. I was hoping that everyone lost except for me, but I didn't get that much. So I was settled just for one.
You do have to consider, we did almost win this match, by the way. It was within like half a bar different, or not even half a bar, it was just a full bar, because present bomb, last bar, it does a lot. But it was within like half a bar of Hercule and a full bar of Frieza. And we lost because of false courage.
Pretty much.
I will say, like, when I heard that they were benching Vegito and it was Supreme Kai versus Janemba, I honestly thought Janemba was just going to eat Supreme Kai alive without like much issue, and continue on his rampage. But I was wrong.
He took every B2. So I'm
basically, I'm glad to see Derp is doing better, overall, and they still have Hui in the background if they do need to bring him in while Kui probably isn't known as the strongest. He isn't known as the strongest. If I recall, they did have him at least looking decent
Mhm.
and everything. So like they do have a backup, but both teams did well. As much as I like to rag on Destiny and his team, anything like that, I do hope that they have a decent season despite being divisional rivals.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, great match, great match.
Yeah. Yeah, again, I'm
That's
very happy.
important.
I'm very happy for Derp because last season they went 1-11. It was kind of sad to see, and now they're 2-1.
Did you guys do Master Throw or anything like that for Turles?
On
Or
certain builds.
certain builds? Okay, it wasn't this one,
No,
right?
it,
Okay,
it's also kind of hard since with Frieza in, he has the defense +3, attack -1. So
got it.
Turles'
Okay,
Master Throw builds are his defense +3 builds. So
okay, I got you. I got you.
yeah,
I will
but
say though, Tosh is right about how I'm glad that Derp is seeing the fruit of their labor with all their testing. And like you were saying, I was very shocked to see Supreme Kai keep up with Janemba.
mhm.
Because we all know Janemba can do 70k whenever he feels like it. And I feel like
70,
that
80k.
pretty much these bams, he melees, and he has eternal life. So he just keeps going. So to see Supreme Kai stand up to a monster like that and do it, make it so close, is probably an indicator of how the match was going to go. I mean, hindsight 2020, of course, but if they have a starter that can handle himself in such a situation and still make it that close, sure, he may not have won, but he still did so much damage to arguably your strongest character. Is that correct, or is it someone else?
It's it's a toss between either Jane Foch or I want to argue Frieza right now.
Yeah, like Spring Guy. I don't think that's Derp's top three. I don't think so. But for
Yeah.
him to do that much to one of your top three is
Yeah.
something to keep in mind
He
going into future weeks.
he even though we don't normally start Janemba, he at least fires like 1 or 2 B2s. So his B2s do a lot of damage. He's just innately good statted. But Supreme Kai never let him charge.
Is that what we need? Was that what people need to keep in mind when facing Janemba? Don't let him charge.
Just
Don't let him back up.
aggression. That's kind of the boy. But I mean, this started close. This ended close. So I will just say, even though my team lost, and I kind of don't like how we lost because I don't like false courage, uh, I'm still happy with the match. So with that, shall we get moving on?
Yeah.
We got 2 more matches to go, and then we'll get on to good stuff. And we got Tosha's favorite match right here. We got Rugratz versus Earth Defenders. I think this started off with Cell Jr. versus Krillin, if I remember.
Yes, I believe you're correct.
Okay. But we got Cell Jr. and Krillin actually being relatively even, which is unlike Cell Jr. from the last season. Cell Jr. probably would have gotten his butt kicked with Krillin last season, but it's great to see how with Cell Jr. that you guys have taken to a whole new level, made him a consistent threat. I think some of my favorite portions of this match were uh Goku. We got to see fire a B2 in Super Saiyan 3, and at the very end we got to see like 5 Neo Tri-Beams be fired off from like a nearly dead Tien. So yeah, Oasis, what do you think about this match?
Speaking of newly dead Tien, let's talk about that new build on Tien. This man was on Key +2, Eternal Life, Latent Energy, Fighting Spirit, and he is out here showing off why Neo Tribing is, better than regular Tribing, I guess. The amount of spam this man was putting out was ridiculous in comparison to his tank build. And I wonder if ED is going to continue down this route of having him on key +2. Because of how well it did. Wait a minute, was Tion on cleanup or was he not? Correct me.
It was Tien versus Trunks.
That's
It was
why.
basically
Okay,
it was basically the last character of both teams fighting it out.
that's why. Okay. I do wonder if ED will keep on key +2. And if they do, where will they put defense +2? Are they going to possibly put it on the Cheeto? Give Krillin back attack +2? That used to be what they did back in season 7 through 9, I believe. And they got very far with it because Vegeta would spam out, a bunch of B2s and had good melee back him up. And then Krillin was just beating on, just curb stomping people, whoever started against him. That's just what he did.
Mm-hmm.
But regardless, this was a very close match. Closer than I expected. I was kind of expecting more of a blowout in either team's favor. But that kind of didn't happen. What we saw instead was just another Budokai situation where one man took up the mantle to try to bring this whole thing back. And he almost did, failed, due to B2 being fired.
Actually, even though this came down to Tien firing like 5 Neo Tri-Beams, it still ended in like a little melee clash. It was just whoever dodged the best.
So I guess it was a skill check at the very end, huh?
At the very end, when both were like within one combo of death. So,
That's I wouldn't say it's true. Well, would you say that's tragic, or would you say that's epic?
I, for what was being done, I would have said that was both actually, because Kid Trunks only had to do like one little nick of damage because of all the Neo Tri-Beams, but Tien just came out and proved that he was a monster of his own right on his new build, even though he only did 30k, because Trunks was, I think, at 2 bars when Tien came in. It was still a very, very hype ending for Tien, but I think a tragic one for Trunks.
That's fair. That's typically how I view most close matches. Just it really could have gone either one's favor. Just Eternal Life really bought Tien the time to get the match under control into his hands, I guess.
But seeing as we have the coach here, Toshiro, what do you think of your match here? If he's here.
I don't.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was muted. I didn't even know I was muted. Happy and pissed at the same time.
I guessed. I guessed.
I made a big mistake and everything, and I made an assumption, a wrong assumption. So
Was it the Patara one?
yeah, because I remember like either setting up the memory card multiple times, or like when we set up tests, I saw this Patara called Confidence. And what Confidence do is it's basically Dragon Spirit, but it gives you it slows down your switch gauge as well. So, but it's for 1 point. So I'm thinking, oh yeah, like I'm basically, let me just say it like this. Goten was on a experimental build. Different AI. He was on TNAI this week. He was on a super build. I was trying to. The whole point of that build was that I ran it by my team, and I wanted to try to see if we can get him to spam his bros Kamehameha. And that was the whole point of that build. Goten still did well, almost did his 40k. The person that really disappointed me in a sense, Cyberman did disappoint me, only doing 20k, but he was against, I think he was up against in Goku.
He was against both of the Gokus.
And yeah, and then the other thing was that Kid Trunks slightly disappointed me because honestly, with the way the fight was going between Trunks and Tien, Trunks had the upper hand the majority of the time. And if Trunks did not run into Super Saiyan 3 Goku's Kamehameha that did 17k to him fully, that was fully charged, we probably would have won that. So
Or
seeing seeing Trunks in my eyes like kind of dirt, kind of didn't. I don't know. It just pissed me off. I was
it's
just
like
like,
it's like you think he dirts, but then you see like he did 80k.
yeah, because I knew it was going. Like the thing is that I knew it was going to be a tall order. Kid Trunks had to go through. We at that point, I think we only took out
It was only Krillin that was
Super
dead.
Saiyan. No, Krillin wasn't.
No,
Krillin
Krillin was
wasn't
dead.
dead yet. Was he?
He was either dead or he was one bar, but everyone
I
was
think.
alive when Kid Trunks. Either everyone or Krillin was alive when Kid Trunks came in,
Okay,
but
well,
most of
if
them were like
everyone was
one bar
alive,
except Tien.
everyone was at one bar except for Tien. And I'm like, okay, well, hopefully this isn't a washout because if it is, I'm gonna be like hella depressed. Like, and Kid Trunks was like, nah, I got this. I'll go ahead and like take care of it. He did what he could, but like I said, if he didn't run into a B2, into that fully charged B2, we would have won it. He also set up many times like I can't be upset with the Neo Tribeams because um he was locked off the majority of the time and
Mm-hmm.
everything like that because Tien fired it from so far away. And somehow, Kid Trunks decided, hey, I'm going to activate a after image. So he actually dodged a few of the Neo Tribeams either just by moving away or through the after image. One thing that I will point out is that Tien, I think it looked like he was about to fall down because I thought he was going to end the freaking Neo Tribeam, and Trunks threw out a B2 that would have killed him.
Mm-hmm.
And Tien just said, nah, get that out of here, and fired one to block it. And it hit Kid Trunks again. So, yeah, I feel like it really came down to like basically one hit. We could have won that. I'm sad. I was sad and everything.
Wouldn't you agree it was both a epic but tragic one for the ending?
Yeah, if I feel like if everyone did well, everyone pretty much did their job. Even Goten, who was basically on a 6 point build and on an experimental build at that, did almost his 40k. If Cyberman did a little bit more, or if Kid Trunks just didn't run into that 17k Kamehameha, we probably would have had. But otherwise, it was a good team, a good match. Everyone did their job, especially on ED
Mm-hmm.
and such. Um, can't really fault them for that. They got Goku and Goku looking well, especially with his little gimmick to where people are like, "Oh, once he goes Super Saiyan 3, he's dead. Like he's just gonna dirt." Nah, they actually got him going Super Saiyan 3 multiple times, and he's actually doing damage in it too, with
He's
no issue.
he's at least
Um,
doing like one superpower to B2 before death,
yeah. So
and that
like,
can do a bar on its own.
yeah, and it's great. Like my, it's just kind of sucks because like honestly, when planning for this whole match, I actually got their bench and their whole lineup down to the T and everything in terms of who I thought was going to start and everything. The middle was kind of iffy and everything like that, but I'm pretty sure Tien was going to like close. And I was hoping that they were going to bench Mid Vegeta, and that's who I thought they were going to bench
Mm-hmm.
because of who they fight next week. So I had everything planned out, but it just didn't work out, and we got so close, but it just didn't go in our way.
Yep. But shall we get moving on to the last match of the week before we get to the other two things we have to do here?
Yeah.
You good, Oasis?
Oh, yes.
All right. Here, also, don't mind the GIF. Here we have androids versus hybrids with few notable things here. We have Perfect Cell versus Ultimate Gohan start. Someone you don't really see starting a whole lot for androids. And still doing his 51k. Then another thing is And well, Super 7 came in near his 40K, so that's still good. Android 19 coming in versus Sword Trunks, and basically just he stunned Sword Trunks, did like a combo, grabbed him for to keep the stun going, then did a little bit more damage. Something you don't normally see out of the GOAT 19, as Donut would say.
Yeah, that was a huge shock.
Yeah.
Like,
And then I think the biggest turning point of this match, because it was just Android 17 and 19 versus Teen, like one bar sword and Future. The biggest turning point of this, Android 17 launched an ult, Teen clashed it with a rush, Android 17 won, did a B2, and had enough to do his 2-ball B2 and obliterated Teen's health bar. So Teen couldn't even like fight back. And I think Android 17 only took like maybe like a bar or two damage. And then he just cleaned up the match from there. So it was a good match. A little downside on hybrids because like your best B2 spammer got absolutely demolished by Android's B2 spammer. But it's like you still gotta give Androids credit. Like they're just pulling out and they're just pulling in all the stops. But I'm still scared of Android 17, man. The 3-bar 10k B2 for free, just use. But Oasis, what do you think of this match?
Yeah, definitely a more standard one than the match before it in terms of having two characters do well on each side, and then the other characters kind of deciding the fate of each team. I gotta say that 17 and 19 are really stepping up for androids as of late, especially 19, who is higher ranked than Cell as we speak. Another phrase I never thought I would ever say.
He's also higher than Janemba.
Higher than you see. Like, are we in the right timeline? I think we're in. I don't know if we're in the right time, but regardless, 19 doing as well as he's been doing didn't really reflect in this match, doing only 35k with the hybrid. Sure, you got some stylish plays, but still not hitting 40k is kind of sus, to say the least. Perfect self starting it shocked me personally. I did not expect to see Cell start ever, especially with attack +2 and latent energy and all that good stuff, because I was sure he would stick to attack +1, Savior, Series, Eternal Life, and then be like third or second or whatever, so he can spam Rugratz, so he can get multiple uses out of his ultimate. To see him start versus Ultimate Gohan really threw me for a loop and possibly the hybrid for a loop. It doesn't seem like it really mattered since they both Ultimate Gohan and Cell did about the same thing, quite literally.
But Alt didn't tag, Cell did.
Yeah, that's about the only difference. If Ultimate Gohan had tagged, the match would have gone on for a bit longer, and I don't think the result would have been different because how dominant 17 was. But regardless, yeah, that's all I gotta say.
And I think if they want to keep starting Perfect Cell, they might want to try some Super Perfect Cell next offseason. He's honestly the better one in terms of melee. Maybe not B2s, but maybe if you want to start Cell, attack +2 serious Super Perfect Cell might do you chick. But Tosh, what did you think about this match? What were some moments?
it was a great match overall. Like I said, the whole 19 deal versus freaking Sword Trunks threw me for a loop, and I didn't think that was going to happen at all. So I'm happy that they got 19 working well. One thing that I'm kind of shocked about is that they didn't bring in, because this was the second divisional in a week, and so I'm kind of shocked that they didn't bring in 16. I know 16 has been giving them issues, every now and
Mm-hmm.
then, but I'm kind of shocked that he is giving them issues compared to someone like maybe Super 17 or even 19, to where they don't even trust him in a divisional. So they're like, we're just going to bench you for now and do this,
Yeah.
like do something else. Um, on hybrids, they did well overall. I can't really complain about too much. It just was kind of out of their hands. Um, I still feel like I think that they are getting like base future trunks. Hopefully they can get him like same thing like with Team Gohan. Team Gohan is scary. I know he has the potential, and I think he has shown it in the past, um, and like either in preseason or even in the last 2 weeks. I'm pretty sure he's been relatively good or like very aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
Base future Gohan. Hopefully they can get him doing better. I'm not really sure how he is looking like in terms of stats, but I honestly think that maybe Super Saiyan. I still hope that either he will transform into Super Saiyan if he doesn't have a Broly's ring on. So, because I feel like Super Saiyan may be the superior form, but they may have something going on for him. That's probably why they went with it. So,
For which base form?
base future Trunks. I mean, not Trunks.
Go on.
Future
Gohan?
Gohan. Sorry, yeah.
Oh, yeah, they tested a lot of base versus Super Saiyan, and they quite liked base better. I think the funniest part of this match is that base feature Gohan threw out Ki Blast and full powers charge for the like half a bar. So that was funny.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Hey, I will mention that I kind of agree with Tosh, in regards to Future Gohan. Because remember, in the last season, this man was one of the best closers, I would say, in the league because of how often he would max power mode spam. He would be two or an ult. The fact his hit rate with his ult when he was in Super Saiyan 1 was impressive. Because you have to keep in mind that it was a rush ult that didn't track. So it was quicker than most rush ults, because if they track, they go slower to compensate for tracking. But regardless, the fact that he hit with that ult multiple times, and then had explosive Madon and special beam cannon to Paul B2s, and he was still able to pump out that much damage when he was so low, was one of the big one of the big reasons why hybrids was such a scary team, alongside Ultimate Gohan and Teen Gohan.
Mm,
Now, with how they've gotten Sword Trunks to work, Ultimate Gohan is working on his build. Teen Gohan may be shaky, but he's still Teen Gohan. He can still hit with some very high damage in B2s and kind of pull off a similar vibe to Majin Vegeta, just minus the power body, which may or may not have a big influence. Future Gohan, though, I feel like it's had been their big linchpin in their team prior to this season. So I wonder what they will do to make sure he's back up and running, so they can close out matches the way they need to.
mm-hmm. Yeah. It's, again, all in a good match. And if I were hybrids, I wouldn't. I would. I would just take this as okay. Some stuff happened. I don't think our boys did bad, and we kind of predicted for Android 16 though, and he wasn't in though. I don't know what's going on behind hybrids' doors. So, but with that, shall we get moving on to actually for the first time this season a new thing that's in the Capsule Cast. This was in last season, but not this season yet. Okay, so here we have the new slide, the power rankings for all the teams, and I did a little thing and just added the 7 Dragon Balls to the sides just to make it a little bit more fleshed out. But Oasis, do you want to explain what this is?
Sure, it's exactly as one might think. It's a power ranking all the teams in the league as if they're only in one division altogether. And it was developed by me and Minecraft Steve just for fun, essentially, just to pull all these teams in a kind of, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Ow. Essentially, you can see all the teams on the screen, and you can see how strong they are at this very moment, depending on their win-loss records. So all the numbers on the very right-hand side, like 27, 22, 21, those are all the power ranking stats based off their wins thus far. The first parentheses, like Resurrected Warrior 7-0 is based off of preseason wins plus main season wins. And then the numbers in the middle, such as Resurrected Warriors 3-0, is just the main season wins. Now, the numbers in the brackets may change due to Minecraft Steve and I changing how the wins are calculated, but for the most part, this is essentially how we view the teams in terms of just power and strength. And I was hoping to get both your opinion, Destiny, and your opinion, Tosh, on the validity on this list. Y'all think this list is accurate, or do you think there's some changes that should be made?
Tosh, you want to go? Because I still gotta think about this.
I mean, I feel like it's fine. The only thing is that when you look at preseason, I get that you guys are doing it through preseason and such. One thing that you should take into account is that a lot of teams, I know, I can speak for my team specifically. We were testing a lot.
Yeah, my team did the exact same thing.
So a lot of that power ranking, and if you're including preseason, isn't truly accurate to what probably the team is. So that will probably be my only thing. Otherwise, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, honestly, same here, and I think at least in terms of looking at it, just based on what everything says, I don't think anyone expected Derp to be above Boojins and number 4, and Muscle to be all the way in last.
Fair. It's fair. In response to what Tosh was saying, that's why that's kind of why Steve and I are in the lab trying to consolidate the preseason matches, because we understand that counting them in the same manner or to the same importance as a main season match isn't very fair to most teams. Because, like you said, most teams were either just testing or weren't really giving it their all to some extent. So we're going to be working on trying to incorporate preseason, but not have it be as influential on the amount of points or power or how people are listed in this ranking. And we'll probably implement it into the next week's ranking, no matter when we get to it.
Yep.
But back to what Destiny was saying, yeah, but I was not expecting Derp to be as high as they were or as they are right now, regardless of preseason and all that. I did not expect Derp to crack top 5, much less top 10. But here we are, as they are our number 14 in our humble opinion.
And most of Budokai is around the 9 to 11 range, except Boojins, who are top 5.
Yeah. Pretty much. The only thing I would probably change is possibly putting Rugratz up a bit higher. It's just I don't know where, because it's still early in the preseason, early in the main season, but I think the Rugratz should be higher, but I just don't know if they're better than hybrid Budokai or Android, if that makes sense. I literally where do y'all think Rugratz should go higher, or do you think they're
I'm
good?
biased, of course, obviously.
I mean, that's what I'm asking. Where do you think your team should be on this list?
Maybe around Androids, either
Android?
above or below.
Gotcha.
That's just me because like with androids lately, I know it was during testing, but I feel like, of course, they're always scared of Rayleigh, and recently Cell Jr. has been doing well against them, like even in tests or even I think in the preseason match that we had against them. Royals, I don't see ourselves doing better than Royals. Kaiju, we have an answer. We got a Rayleigh hit Trunks. So like, I feel like it really depends. Like, I don't know. I that's where I'll probably I put myself like somewhat in the middle of everyone.
Uh, I
But yeah.
for me, I'd have to kind of agree with that actually. I'd put them around the like androids Budokai hybrid range. Uh, because they Rugrats honestly looks like they're around not as of right now they're around like that range of power. But again, it seems you guys are also considering preseason when most teams are testing, as I think that's a little bit why, at least a little thing I have since it's my own team, but why my team is in the bottom three, because we were primarily testing of all of our preseason, and I do want to point out that is how we found out about our Frieza build. By the way, that's how he's become Mr. Consistent.
Then in that case, if the preseason wasn't being counted, where would you say your team should land?
Again, just like Tosh with his team, I'm a little bit biased, but I'd honestly put it around maybe top 8, where Kaiju and androids are. But
Yeah.
I wouldn't say top 5, because looking at those top 5 teams, they'd wreck us in an instant. But I'd say around like
Okay.
8 to 10 range.
8-10 range. Okay. But yeah, like that's kind of the input we need in order to make sure that this list is accurate and you know showing off the correct rankings instead of just, oh, this team won, okay, move them up a little bit. I wanted to be more inclusive of all these different attributes in these teams. Because sure, a team may be like 0 and 3,
Like Muscle,
or
for
1 and
example,
2.
0 and 3.
Right. But there's still something working behind them. Like if they were 0 and 3 and were losing badly, which they kind of have, then sure, that makes sense. But they're like 1 and 2, and all of their matches have been close. Then maybe there's room to argue for them being put higher, like androids.
Though to be fair, most of these matches have been like 2-1, 1 and 2, and they've been like within a bar.
That's true. Which makes this whole ranking early on so much harder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Once the season gets more fleshed out, then you'll see like maybe differences pop up. But with that, shall we get moving on to the final bit here, since we're nearing the 2-hour mark? Shall we get moving on to the tier list and predictions?
Yep.
All right. Again, new thing will be fleshed out more in the season, but here we have our tier list, our predictions, and the near elite of the week being General Tao. I know other people went like near 80k, but he was the only one that I saw near the 90k mark, so within like the 10k of going elite. But for the first match here, we have Cinema versus Androids, and at least we know who's coming in. I can give a little bit insight of who we're benching, since I know this is getting posted on Friday, so this is after builds. But for me, since I'm going to have to go with my own team, since we're home map, Android 16's coming back in, so we have a little bit of a counter for him. My main worry is, where is 19 and Cell going to be? Because 19 can shut down one of our character coming back in, which is Gogeta, and Cell can kind of just beat up on a lot of other people. But a little insight before you guys vote. Jane is out, since we have our divisional next week.
Against us, yeah.
I mean, you were going to find out Jane was going to be out anyway, and he
Yeah,
was going
no,
to
I'm
come
just
back
saying
in.
against
But
us.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Mm.
Oasis, what's your vote?
With learning that Jane's out, I'm definitely giving this to androids. No offense to you, Destiny, but the androids have 17, and they have, well, no, they probably will bench one of the two.
They
I'm not
have
sure which.
they have to bench one of the 217s.
Oh, yeah, they're definitely. I feel like they're going to bench regular 17 here. But even then, okay, they still have enough firepower and enough techniques to shut down cinema to some extent, especially if Jane's out. Especially if Jane's out. So I do say androids will take this.
All right, fair, fair. Tosh.
I would probably give to androids, and actually, the kind of what you were saying earlier, Destiny, they actually don't have to bench one of the 17. They can actually put off their bench until a little bit
True.
later in the season if they would like. Um,
But
so I
just,
can definitely, huh?
just assuming if they wanted to bench one of the 17s.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I would think that they probably see you guys as a threat, of course, because how crazy you guys can get. So I would probably see if they do bench one of the 17s, it'll probably be Super 17 instead of Android 17, regular 17. Uh, and then they may end up benching maybe like 19 or Super 17, whatever. But nah, I have to give it to Androids. I just feel like they have a lot more burst damage and their aggression can kind of outdo you guys.
Mm-hmm. All right, so 2-1 going androids, and I say if 19's in, and if I see him block another Stardust Breaker with a grab, I am going to be mad. Sorry,
Also, if Androids win, it will be in my favor, and I want that.
and I don't want that. But actually, speaking of Rugratz, moving on to the next match, we have Rugratz versus Budokai, and I think, in all honesty, nothing is you, Tosh. This is not because you're in my divisional, or no, seriously. I just think
Oh.
Budokai has the firepower that they need to take you guys out. Like Nam's come back in. He's a really good melee character. Cyborg Tao has gone near elite multiple times, by the way, and has taken over matches himself. 18 still has that burst damage, and I just think Cyborg Tao just got a bad matchup, and Yamcha just kind of just also had a bad matchup. But I'm gonna have to give it to Budokai. Again, nothing against you, Tosh. You have some firepower on yourself. And actually, hold on. Before I 100% vote, because I'm still mixed, is Gotenks in?
No.
Okay, I'm still giving it to Budokai.
Okay.
You just never know with Gotenks.
Goten is benched. Aurelia is coming in.
Okay, so it's just no Gotenks because Goten is benched already. So, Oasis.
Ooh, that I was about to say a definite Budokai, but that learning that Aurelia's coming back and Goten is benched kind of changes some things because Aurelia, I don't even need to explain it, but ooh, this is tough. Tosh, why gotta make this so hard, man? I'll give it to Rugratz. I will give it to Rugratz because Aurelia and Trunks are a very dynamic duo who can pretty much run through anything and anyone so long as they feel like it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But like that's more for freaking Aurelia.
So, Tosh.
Oh, of course, my team. I gotta give it to my team. And not only because like biased, but like I've seen 18 shut down against androids for whatever reason, just shut down usually against Aurelia. Um, and then of course Cell Junior with Cell Junior looking better, doing around 40, even close to 60K or more, and everything like that in either test or in some previous weeks. I think during like preseason. and all, and Kid Trunks in there. That I feel like even though it's only three of them, it's we can still take it. And Cyberman has stays. I'm not going to discount Cyberman, who was great for us last season. If he's on, if he's on his game, and he at least can go even like I know he can, or do more, I definitely say that we take it. So
All right, so
we just have a lot more utility, like either with Aureli's what is it, max power, power body, Kid Trunks' light body with he gets in max power and all that stuff, or ult spam and all that stuff too. So
so it's 2-1, I think. Sorry, I can't.
yep,
Okay, 2-1 in Rugrat's favor, right?
Pretty
Yep.
much, yeah.
Sorry, it's
Fingers crossed.
my hearing's going out. But it's 2-1 to Rugrats, and again, nothing against Rugrats. I just think Budokai has the tools they need to take him out. Going on to match 3 here, it's Dirt versus Royals, and Royals has Meta coming back in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Because Derp has Vegito coming back in. Royals should be having
Royals,
Meta
yeah,
coming back.
they have Meta Cooler coming in.
I think because Royals will be wanting to probably bench one of their stronger characters this week because of a divisional. They don't have to, but they could. I'm going to have to give it to Derp. Royals probably make it really close, but I think based on like maybe what happened last week, and again this is on Derp's home map, so he can screw over a few things. But Derp just has their base roster seemingly figured out. Hercule and Salazar are still a threat. Vegito is always a really mega melee threat, and I personally I want Derp to get some more wins this season. I don't want to see them being like maybe 2-11, or maybe not 2-11, like 2-10. But I just want to see Derp win more. So I'm gonna have to give it to Derp, but nothing against Royals. I think they can bring out a roster that can beat Derp if needed. So Oasis.
So I'm gonna have to completely disagree with you on that. Go for Royals, simply because of the fact that while Dirk does have a lot of good combo pieces working together as we speak, Royals also have quite the same lineup, just better, in my opinion. They have Spammer, they have the tank, they have Attack Plus. They actually don't. Forget that one. But regardless, they have all the damage you can ask for in the Vegetas.
They can always
You
put
know?
Attack Plus on one of the Vegetas.
That's true. Although, you wouldn't really want to at this point. Regardless, I'm getting off top. Regardless, the fact that Royals literally have all the damage you could ask for, I think is going to overwhelm Derp, especially if Majin Vegeta's in. Even if Baby's in, because if he transforms into 8, aside from Vegito, who else has Draconic Aura? I mean, sure, Hercule will have it because he'd be in Savior, but past that, he can't use his ult and he can't do his Rush B2. He's not going to be doing much to Baby, especially if he has Eternal Life.
Pretty sure you can still
And then
do his
Monty
10k
Vegeta
pets
is
box.
that's true, but that's if Baby gives him the time to actually use it, because it's going to be spamming away. And then Majin Vegeta is just going to have Power Body either through max power through his Princess Pride B1. And then he's spamming out 10k B2s himself.
But with Majin Vegeta, he can still take the rushes.
That's true. That's if he lets him use rushes, because he's probably going to be in his face doing exactly what Herc would do to everyone else, but Majin Vegeta is doing it to him.
With more damage.
With more damage.
Yeah. So, the Royals then?
Yeah, Royals.
Tosh?
I want to say Dirt, but I just looked at the benches for Royals, and they already benched Vegeta, both Vegetas and Metacooler, at least one. So if they don't bench, give one of them like their second bench. If they bench Slug or even Deborah, I can still see, um, what is it, Royals taking it, even though I want Dirk to take it. So I'm very conflicted on that, and I can see Dirk taking it. But let's put it like this: 49% for Dirk, 31% for Royals, giving it to Royals. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, so that's 2-1 to 2-1 Royals. I think some people still have some belief in Dirt though. Moving on to the first divisional of the week, we have GT versus Namek, and I'm gonna have to give it to Namek. Nova's coming back in. Tambourine's been looking really good, and what is it? Late Piccolo has been looking really fantastic. GT still has some firepower with like Sin, Pan, Pycon, and Vegeta's coming back in, but I'm just going to have to give it to Namek because with Nova in, they just have the burst damage to cut through GT.
So I'm gonna stop you right there, G. Even though I'm the coach of Namek, I think GT has this mainly because in testing, at least, I think we fought them 4 times, and we may not have even beat them once, and that's mainly because of PyCon and Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta just decimating the team. And with that being said, Super Saiyan Vegeta is coming back in, and PyCon has already been benched once. So the two people who counter us the most are going to be in. I don't think, and even sure, base Goku and Sin haven't done the most damage, but if Pan does what she did this week or last week, this week, and then backed up by PyCon and Vegeta, I don't see how Namek. I don't see how my team pulls out a win here.
All right, Tosh.
I I would probably have to give the GT as well. I definitely see them probably benching GT Goku after him being a disappointment last week. Uh, and with Pans hopefully still being on top of her game and all that, I can just see them pulling it out more. So it'll probably be a close match overall. Um, it just depends on because who are you benching?
I'm mentioning Nail.
Neil.
Yeah.
So it'll be close. It'll be close because while King Piccolo isn't like the best at times, he still spams a lot and everything, and I can see that playing a huge factor along, of course, like with how everyone else does on Namek. So I'd give the edge to DT.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, so it's 2-1 to GT. It's going to be close, and I wonder if we're going to get a 3-0 today. uh, Moving on, we have Bujins versus Muscle. We have Spopovich coming in for Bujins and Android 13 coming in for Muscle. I'm still going to have to give it to Bujins. I think even with maybe Evil Boo and Majin Buu not doing the best this week, I still think they have the firepower to cut through Muscle, and Muscle still has some kinks to work on with like Raccoon and Broly. Just kind of flip flopping a bit, but yeah, I'm still gonna have to give it to Bujins.
Uh, it's not that I don't want us to have a 3-0, but I think this is the week that Muscle gets their first win. And the only reason is that I'm betting on the fact that they won't bench Bojack here. They're going to bench Raccoon. And Trunks, Bojack, Broly, 13 is their strongest lineup by far. And while Bujins are a very strong team, they have Spopovich in, which isn't. Oh, I mean, he's better than some of the pitches, but still isn't the most, uh, sparkly character, to say the least.
Mm.
So I think Muscle definitely has a shot if everything goes right. Should probably not. That's just me.
Alright. Tosh?
All right. I would probably give it. Um, they have a lot of character. Pretty much all their characters can break through power body and all that. I think what 13's coming back in for muscle and all. And if they even if they keep Broly in it, he comes in there with either of course max power or even if he goes into legendary Super Saiyan. Yeah, his power, all their power body is just going to go, not going to even be a factor against Buhan, Kid Buu, or even Majin. Um, so that's one thing taken away. With and plus Bujins, they just have a lot more. I feel like either ultimates or just faster melee than Muscle. That will probably outside of future adult trunks and everything, but I can definitely see Bujins still taking it handily, even with Popovich coming back in for them.
Hmm. So, we got 2-1 to Bujins. Uh, gonna be close. Again, Muscle is not a team you want to sleep on, even though they are 3. Next, we have Hybrids and Sentai, and I honestly feel sorry for Sentai, but they have Kid Gohan coming back in, and even though Jace is coming back in for Sentai, I think Sentai has way too many kinks they still have to work out compared to Hybrids, that I'm going to have to give it to Hybrids. Not that Sentai won't give them maybe a run for their money, because like Adult Gohan and Burger can still pop out a lot of DPS.
Hmm. Considering that they have to bench Burger or Saiyaman during this match, I will give it to Hybrids. While yeah, like you were saying, Destiny, while both teams still have one or two characters that aren't performing to their expected values, I think the amount of damage from Hybrid outclasses the amount of damage from Sentai. That'll get them the win.
Mm-hmm. Tosh?
So I would probably give it to actually Sentai. I can actually see them pulling it out. Um, with Sentai, even if they bench, I can probably see them benching maybe Saiyaman as of right now. Yeah, Saiyaman and Bird, like how you guys said, are the only two without a bench right now. So I can see maybe Saiyaman being benched and all because I don't think Birder will have that same issue that he had versus Resurrected Warriors or even against GT. I don't know. Like I said, I don't remember how he did against GT if he was, but regardless, I can see him doing a lot better against hybrids. So I just give him a vote since because I can actually see them pulling it out, especially with adult Gohan and Sam. So
Mm-hmm. Uh, so I almost jumped my headphones. Oof. So 2-1 going Hybrids. Again, Sentai can still pull out a win. I think they're the other 0-3 team right now, if I'm correct.
yes, yeah.
So never know. Maybe just like Muscle, this could be the week where they pull out a win. But moving on to the second divisional of the week. Uh, the second and last divisional of the week. We have Kaiju versus ED. We have Raditz coming in and mid Vegeta coming in. I'm going to have to give it to ED because like Tien's still a menace to deal with. The Gokus seem to be back on their footing, and even though Krillin isn't like the biggest threat, he's still a melee threat. But with Vegeta coming in, that's another firepower you have to deal with on for Kaiju that to have to worry about. And I don't think people like Raditz can be up to the test, even though we've seen Raditz take it to characters like Broly and Cell. But I'm gonna have to give it to ED. It's gonna be close since it is Kaiju's home map, and I don't think ED really has a way of breaking out a power body other than max power mode or just trying to B2 them down.
I feel like ED has it because apparently this is the year of the Goku. So the Gokus will will probably do well here because their main focus is to be in max power mode. And what's Kaiju's biggest weakness, besides standard Draconic Aura, is max power mode because of because of the Draconic Aura that max power mode gives, and because of the amount of damage that can come out of people in that mode from the ultimates, and because they're such a huge target, it's gonna be hard to dodge it. And especially if mid Goku starts spamming out Kamehamehas, either his ult or his B2 version, they'll probably hit in some capacity, and that'll set Kaiju back in the match. So I think ED's probably gonna win this.
Um, I will also have to go with Edie. Um, Pretty much everything that Oasis just said. The main other thing is that if they have in Goku in and the man is very ult happy and they transform, that's just a bigger target. And it's a cutscene ultimate, so it doesn't matter. It clips you and you get hit. So
And his Super Saiyan form is also an instant transmission.
yeah. So I definitely see ED taking it overall, just because more so of their kit and all that, and their aggression and anything.
Hey, we got a 3-0. But yeah, 3-0 to ED. I think Kaiju still have a shot, but ED just has way too much in their kit that can counter Kaiju's overall team aesthetic. And here in the final match, we have Cold and Resurrected. Going back to earlier, what Oasis thought was basically Resurrected versus Resurrected. But
Yeah.
I'm going to have to give it to Resurrected. I'm going to have to give it to Cold's coming back in and Majub is coming back. Okay. I'm going to have to give it to Resurrected Warriors still, even though they might bench someone like Early or Ader. They still have just so much of firepower, even with, and especially with Maju coming back in one of their better characters this season, that I don't think Cold can keep up. Even though they have people like 100% Frieza, King Cold, Cooler, and Mecha, and even Zarbon's pulling out 60k, 70k performances. I'm still going to have to give it to Resurrected Warriors, even though Cold, I think, will make it close.
I'll probably agree with you up until the result. I think Cold will beat RW, but it will be close. No, scratch that. I believe it's going to be close in the beginning. Then one of these two teams will blow it wide open, and that victory will be a landslide. I believe that team is going to be Cold, mainly because their B2 game from their mid-range, long-range game is better than RW's in my opinion, because of all the spam that they have under Cooler, it's all the ults they have under 100% freeze up. And sure, King Cold is coming back in, but that's not a bad thing. He's your Eternal Life user, and he's willing to spam as well. And his melee, oddly enough, just kind of works. So I feel like Cold, not feel like, I know Cold will probably take this match and give RW their first loss.
I want and I need, and I feel like they can win. Cold. It's personal, and also I feel like they can win.
Alright, so we have 2-1 going to Cold then?
Yes.
Yes.
We got 1-3-0. That's all I'm happy for. So but yeah. With that, we've come to the end of the Capsule Cast. You can check out the website and the Twitter and the Discord in the description below. Trust us, we don't bite, as I say every cast. But yeah, so again, this was a great week. Again, I'm your host. I'm Destiny.
I'm Oasis.
Gosh.
And we will be seeing you next time. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.